I'm Zander Pryor. I'm 17. I'm a senior at Booker T. I'm showcasing in stage management, acting, playwriting, and with like a little minor focus in makeup. For stage management, one of the things on my table that I was really proud of was the prompt book I made for Losing Sight, which was a one act that was supposed to go up last spring. Unfortunately, it didn't because of complications. And because of that, our sound designer wasn't able to complete their sound design. But thankfully, we were able to find someone who was able to finish the sound design. We already had gotten our lighting design plan. We'd already worked out like the, we had already blocked all of the show. It was about to go up, like we had done all of the paperwork. The only thing that wasn't technically finished was the shift plot because we had not yet introduced props, and so we wanted to. So we had like a kind of plan for it, but we wanted to wait to see, like if there were going to be any limitations because our director had like really big plans for it. But I was able to complete a shift plot with what we had, and I was able to essentially finish the entire binder, even though it did not go up and I did not get to call the show, which is like one of my great sadnesses. But at least the binder is complete and it turned out perfect. Well, one of the binders is actually a play that I wrote because I'm also stage managing playwriting, and it got produced this summer online. And so I decided to go ahead and make a prompt book and shift plot and all the things that I would make for stage management because it did get produced. And so I was able to base it off of, I was in rehearsals every single day. So since the chances of me getting to stage manage a show this year was kind of iffy, I went ahead and just made a prompt book for it because it got produced. So this play is called Parent, Legal Guardian, Angel, Other. I started work on it in my freshman year of high school. I was going through some things, and then I was also dealing with the fact that I felt like I couldn't be a trans person in theater. I felt like really like those two parts of my identity were kind of at odds. And I'd always loved writing, I'd always loved acting, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write the stories and the parts that I want to see. I'm just going to create it. And so one of the most important things for me was like that half the cast or something had to be trans, because I had been in a couple of shows where I was the token trans teen, as me and my mom termed it. And those were lovely experiences, but I was the only person there, and I could only speak to one experience. And it was also just hard being like the one person, because it made it very easy for me to be ignored and talked over. Not saying that happened a lot, but it was frustrating. So I channeled all of that into writing this play. It initially ended up being 120 pages. I then kind of put it aside for my sophomore year, and then junior year I found this contest I wanted to enter into because it was specifically geared towards young people. It's called the Young Playwrights Festival. It's at the Blank Theater in California, and they have no limits for anything. It can be any length. It has to be by someone who's aged 9 to 19. They've done musicals before. I was like, finally I'll get my chance. And so I spent a month just I portioned it out day by day, what I was gonna do, which sections I was gonna look at. I had all of my friends over before COVID, and we did a read through of it just to be able to hear what sounded good and what didn't need to be there for people to grasp the story. I eventually got it down to 90 pages, I think. I sent it in. I got a letter a couple of weeks later saying that I was a semi-finalist, which means that out of the hundreds of submissions they've gotten, I was one of the last 42, and then they read all of those. Whereas like before it's like in small groups. And so then about a week later, I got the call to hear that, so I was a winner, but I was also, they were like creating this new thing for me, because normally the plays they get are like 15 minutes, because that's what we're encouraged to write. We're encouraged to write one act and 10 minutes, but like my brain has never worked that way. And so they usually do like 3 shows a week. And so then 4 weeks, 12 plays. I was the 13th play, I was YPF plus. And so then I got my own week, and I still got to get it produced, but like my show was produced by itself. It was like a combination of their YPF series and their living room series, which is for adult playwrights. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I've had one be produced here. One's called Death Gets Wings. There's pictures of it up on my table. And then I've had another one called Token Trans that was produced as part of the Festival of the Kid at Stage West, which was also produced digitally. Another part of theater tech that caught my interest was makeup, and it was in large part that it felt like a safe space to express my creativity. I have never been very good at drawing, but I'm really good at creating with my hands, which is why I make those dolls. I can make something that I see. And so in makeup, it's a lot of replicating something that you see in real life. Like what we would do is like we focused on different sections of like, so happy, sad, angry, and so you're just sort of creating that general feeling with your face, and I felt like that was something I was able to do, and it gave me a lot of sort of confidence in my artistic ability, which I really didn't have before. The dolls it was a skill that was taught to me by a friend. She makes her own form of dolls, but like there were a couple of methods that she used. I was like, because I don't have a sewing machine and I wanted to learn to sew, so I had to modify it a little bit. So eventually I just ended up creating like my own pattern. And then I've been in a couple of shows where I've just had such amazing experiences that I really wanted to give them meaningful gifts. And so I was like, you know what, I'll create like characters. And so it's a way to, have like a way to memorialize this show. And so I started doing it, and I realized that I was pretty good at it. And so I just kept creating and making them as ways to show my love for people. If I get into your school and you give me money, I might give you a doll.